Hi everyone, my name is Anya King, and today I had the pleasure of talking with Ciaran Thompson, and he's going to give us his personal experiences of how he got into the industry. So, Ciaran, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Ciaran Thompson. I'm a standby art director for TV and film.
Perfect. So what was your first step into the film industry? So did you do like GCSEs or A level to do with film?
No, in school, my only contact with TV of any sort was media studies, which we used to have back in comprehensive. It was in amongst our art and CDT sort of lessons back then. And I didn't really take much interest in it at all because it was pretty basic. But I didn't mind drawing the storyboards. But apart from that, there was no contact for TV or anything in the family, or didn't know anyone around where I lived at all. It was a long time before I worked out the connection between art and TV, really, you know.
Yeah. So then did you go to university and do a course in TV there?
No, my first step from sixth form, I did art and CDT in sixth form. From there, I went to do a foundation in art design. So the main thing for me was to get out of Lanter, where I live, and go see the bright lights, big city, and went to Manchester at the beginning of the 90s and did a foundation course there, which then led me straight onto the degree course because they seemed to like my work, which I was really lucky, so I didn't have to go and apply anywhere else. So I stayed in Manchester and did the degree, but I did fine art and sculpture, so it was very hands-on, making things and all that sort of stuff. And from there, I sort of just, once I left my degree, I didn't really know what to do at all. I just drifted around. I came back to Wales and worked for my old man and worked on a construction site and just drifted about really until I found out about some little jobs. There was the Welsh National Opera. There was a connection. A friend of a friend said they do scenic work there and stuff. And so I went and did some scenic artwork there. Learned how to paint some backdrops and make some props and bits and bobs. That's a few months I went there. And this is all in between working for my old man on building sites. So I just pop in, go work for them, come out.
Yeah.
And then I found out about the specialist model makers in Cardiff.
Yeah. Okay.
And they did like exhibition type display stuff, and models and things. And I was like, oh, I'll give that a go as well. So I had a chat with them, went in there and did some stuff. And it was all they made architectural models and display stuff. I like the more sculptural display stuff rather than the architectural models because they were really precise and engineered to the detail, which was quite cool, but I didn't really know much about it. I didn't really understand it.
Yeah.
So, but funny enough, when you leave Cardiff Airport, there's a big red dragon, big fiberglass red dragon, and one in the castle as well. I helped sculpt that.
Oh wow, that's so cool. I actually know the ones you mean. I've seen them.
Yeah. I got a picture of me holding the head. Where I had to there was an actual sculptor who sculpted the dragon, and I had to fine tune it to fit it into the fiberglass molds before they made it so they could cast it and all that. That was a good experience.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, and that was just I was just bouncing around. I didn't really have a direction. I didn't know what to do with fine art. I didn't know where to go. I was still finding my feet of what the world was all about back then. Although the only real connection was when I was leaving the degree a couple of years prior to that. They were sort of looking for people to do MAs and postgrad courses for the stage and theatre design course in Cardiff.
Yeah.
And I got some fella came up to me and said, "Oh, you'd be a good candidate for the stage and theatre design course." I was like, "Oh, I'm not really sure about that." I was in the middle of fine art and sculpture, and I was like, "Oh, that sounds a bit bad." But I just sort of put it on the back burner and forgot about it.
Yeah.
So meanwhile, back to the future, I was still surfing and just interested in going travelling. So that was my main priority. I'd left uni and then come back bounce around, earn some money, and go surfing. So I did that really, and then the real good little kick off for it all was we got family down in Cape Town in South Africa, and I went down there, and whilst down there, a friend of a friend said, "Oh, there's a set building company. You know, you do this sort of stuff in Wales, don't you? You know, you worked for that sort of thing, and you do your fine art, and blah blah blah." They didn't really know what I did, but I said, "Yeah, I can do that." I put my hand up, and all of a sudden, I'm going to this industrial estate in Cape Town, and saying I can help build sets and flats and props for a company in Cape Town.
Wow, that's such a big leap, isn't it?
Yeah, it was cool because I'd never, I was in a different country for starters, and then it was like people I didn't know, and it was just being thrown in it, and I started off just like helping put flats together and paint the flattage, which are the flats are like the walls of a set,
Yeah.
And so I was just doing that at first and tiling things. Then they were like, right, can you take them to the location? So I was getting in a van. I had these guys in the townships with me in the van. I'd drive to different parts of Cape Town and set up these things for like commercial photography adverts and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And they were having a problem with some props they were making for a German TV show. And there was a young guy who made the props. They were like quite detailed things, and he was having a problem doing it. And I was like, well, can you draw? He just made the stuff. He didn't draw it out, because I did like design leading up to this, like CDT and all that. I didn't realise I was leaning on my old school skills. I was like, well, just draw it, because you can't explain to me what you want.
Yeah.
But I can, if you draw it and get this idea out, we can work together. I didn't realise at the time I was going through the process. So in the end, we solved this problem. We ended up remaking it and doing it. And then they were like, right, okay, you know how it works now. You can go use it you can go operate it on set. So I'd never done that before either. Next minute, I'm on the mountain in Cape Town, tabletop mountain, and doing this thing for this German TV show.
So after Cape Town, what was your next step in the film industry?
So my time came and went, and I was there for like 5 months or something, 4 months. And they were really cool. They were like, oh, sorry to see you go, Kim. They gave me a cover note. And I was travelling around the world at that time.
Yeah.
I found out the industrial area near Manly in Australia had all the model makers for the TV and film industry in Sydney.
Oh, wow, okay.
So I skated from Manly to Balgowlah, where the industrial estate is, and literally knocked on roller shutter doors. So I introduced myself. I was like, just give it a go, see what happens.
Yeah.
I was like, just knocking on doors, and they were like, no, we haven't got any work for you because the big feature film's just finished, but so-and-so up the road there, he's got space. This guy called Neil, he might have some work for you. So I went up to this guy called Neil, he's Kiwi, he's from New Zealand, and he was like, what's going on? I said, well, I'm traveling around the world, I've been in Cape Town, I've been doing this, that, and the other, I've got a fine art background, I've got this bit of paper, look. And he was like, yeah, cool, can you draw? I was like, yeah, I can draw. He goes, right, come in, I've got this thing for you. Can you draw this for me? He threw a book in front of me, and it was the Star Wars sort of backgrounds and stuff. And he was like, right, see that? That's the loading bay for the Death Star. Can you draw one of them for me? I was like, yeah, like, because what I'm doing, I'm working on a Japanese TV commercial, and I need this loading bay. We're going to do something similar. So I started drawing this loading bay out. Like, literally, I just skated up to this guy. And he's like, can you draw? So it's happening, it's going. And there's one other fella in there, long-haired, sort of hippie-looking guy. And he was making these sculpty maquette models, like sort of 6-8 inch high sculptures of these like sort of monster type characters. And I was chatting to him, and he's like, hey man, what something you're drawing? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, oh, you've got to loosen up, man, loosen up. You're looking all a bit tight, so all your lines are a bit tight. I was like, well, just skated here. I've got a bit of sweat on, and I'm a bit nervous. He's like,
Yeah.
Loosen up, man, guy. So I loosened my drawing up a bit and relaxed a bit. He's like, yeah, that's cool. And I handed it to Neil, and he's like, yeah, right, tomorrow, come back here. You and me are going to an art director, and we're going to show him these drawings, and blah, blah, blah. And that was it. And I started working for him for the whole time I was in Oz, just doing stuff for these Japanese TV commercials. The guy that I was actually telling me to chill out was a Californian guy.
Okay.
And he'd actually made the headpiece for Hellraiser.
Oh my gosh, you're joking.
Thing. He was one of the sculptors who helped work on that. I didn't realise.
Meet all of these amazing people who'd worked on all of these projects, and the way you do it was just rocking up to this warehouse and knocking on the doors. That's how you networked.
Yeah. So I did that. I spent my time in Oz. I went up the Gold Coast surfing and enjoying it. Overstayed my welcome. I stayed too long.
So then, how did you go into the TV and film industry from Australia?
To skip forward a few years to get into the TV stuff but I thought about that model making course, the theatrical design course in Cardiff.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I remember that sounded quite cool back in the day, but the people I was with and the timing wasn't right, so I'll give it a shot. I've done some sketchbooks as I was travelling and things. So I just went to a stage and theatre design course with like sketchbooks I'd been drawing and travelling, which were more like graphic design really. I really like graphic design.
Yeah.
And so I went in there and I was just talking to them. And I was sat there talking to the head of the course, a guy called Ciaran. And he was like, what do you want to do? I said, I just want to make stuff. I want to, I've got all this energy to do and create and stuff. And looking around his room, he had all these little miniature figures, set built, theatrical sets, which were real sculptural. And I was like, yeah, I want to do that.
Yeah.
And he was like, looked at the woman who was like the head of the paint department, and we were like, yeah, cool, you're on. And so I got onto that course. It was the post-grad course. They haven't yet turned it into an MA.
Okay.
So it was 9 months. It's an MA now. I was still like the guinea pigs. They did like 2 years of these post-grad, but it was really, really intense. They realised there was too much work in 9 months. But anyway, I did it. And it was wicked. We did more scenic work. We did sculpture. We did light casting, mould making. It's a brilliant course. The one in Cardiff. It's amazing.
Yeah, and, sounds it.
Yeah, so it's a fantastic course, and they've got really good connections with the TV industry, which I didn't realise. And they were like, we see you've done some TV stuff. And I was like, would you want to go into that? I was like, well, yeah, I'm just hoping to get into anything really. And they were like, right. So around Christmas time, I was having a pint with Sean at the top here in the student bar. He's like, look, we could get you working for. We got good connection with Doctor Who. The designer of Doctor Who is a good, all connected. People come through here into Doctor Who, and away they go. He said that you could get on that now at Christmas, but I need you to finish the course. I'd like you to finish the course. I was like, wow, this is cool. So I finished the course, got a commendation, and then went straight into Doctor Who because they had the connection there. It was there. It was the link. That was the link. I eventually found this link into that world. It was just like I came straight out of there into Doctor Who, and they were doing a program called Sarah Jane Adventures.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Well, that program was running at the same time. The designer of that was a guy called Tim Dickel. He was like, when are you coming in? And I'm like, well, I've got to finish this course first. I've got to do we've got to do an exhibition down in London. We've got to do an exhibition in Cardiff. It's like, oh, come in. We're really busy. So in the end, I missed the Sarah Jane opening.
Yeah.
But when I finished my exhibition down in London, I came back up to Cardiff. I went straight. They were like, right, you in with the Doctor Who lot then? And I was like, no way, this is like full on. It was a height of David Tennant. And I'd never done it before, never been in a studio like that before. It was really intense. Really, I was sitting in front of a laptop and I was like, right, here's the script, boom, with my name printed on it. And you're like, right, read that. You've got to break it down. You've got to work. They tell you how to break a script down. I don't know if you know what that is. But
yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. I know what you're on about.
You got to take all the nuts and bolts out of it. You got to take every scene. You got to find out what's needed, where it is, what's lighting's needed, what props are needed, what dressing's needed, all the rest of it, hair, makeup, blah blah blah. You break it down into all these little columns. I was like, wow, I've never done this before. This is radical. It's full on.
Yeah.
Everyone walking around over my shoulder and they all look like they knew what they were doing, and it's all really, but it's really exciting,
Yeah.
And that was it. Then it was like they were like, right then, the standby art director is pregnant, so we're going to need someone to step in to do the next block. Are you up for it? And they got me in the office. I was like, because they didn't really know what to do with me. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not a draftsman. I'm not like a technical draftsman. You know, I haven't got those, not proficient in those real technical drawings sitting behind a computer doing CAD. I'm more freestyle, like, you know. But they didn't want me doing scenic work because then I'm out with the construction department and I'm not in yard, you know. And they were like, no, you know, you're pretty hands-on. You can do a bit of everything. Like, right, they got me in the office and they said, right, sink or swim, this is going to be. You're going to try you out as standby art director. You haven't done it before, but we're going to give you a go. So you're going to give you 3 days to work it out if you can deal with it, and go for it, you know. But if you can't, you've got to let us know really quickly because we have to get someone else in. And I was like, and that was it, you know. That was my start, and it was pretty hard to get involved with it because it's quite an intense industry. It's really, you know, quite niche, and everyone's in your. And you're wondering who the kid is who's just turned about the blue, and well, not a kid. I was in my 30s, mid-30s by then, you know. So he's this guy who's turned up, and he looks like he's getting a fast track to whatever. But you know, I think all the stuff I'd done prior, you know, working on a building site, working with all the guys on the sites, working with, you know, the different tradesmen, you know, that really helped for the working with the construction teams, working with the scaffolders, with the model makers, all that, being able to talk to all those people.
So then what you're saying is that by having all of these experiences within the field and working is how you got your break into the industry, and that possibly would be the best advice you could give would be to get as much work experience as you can.
Yeah, you just find out that you've just had all this stuff that you just didn't realise you were collecting along the way. You know, all these different weird experiences, and then you're like, oh no, I've been in this situation before in Cape Town. Yeah. You know, you start talking, and then you've also got something else to talk about. You know, because you just make people laugh. You're like, oh, when I was in Cape Town, you know, I messed up here, I got lost, I ended up down a dead end. You just make people laugh, and you know, and then and that was it. I just got carried on, you know, just said, yeah, I could do that, and they just kept giving me work. You know, I ended up doing 20 odd episodes for Doctor Who, did Sherlock, and everything that came out of Wales, that was pretty, you know, high end at that time. I was involved with, still am really, you know.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Would you say that you had a mentor in the field? Like when you started out doing the Doctor Who, would you say that there was somebody that you relied on a lot and helped you through it?
Well, yeah, funny enough, there was a supervising art director, because the designer of Doctor Who at the time was a guy called Edward Thomas, and he did all the Doctor Who, and he started Sherlock and brought Sherlock back in that. He was really cool. He actually came to my degree show, the postgrad show, and he was like, I want you to come work for me. And I was like, yeah, cool, you know. You know. And but when I got there was a supervising art director called Alan Jones, and he's a production designer now. I'm actually working with him at the moment, but he's done Sherlock, he's done Dracula, those things, you know. So he was sort of my mentor. He'd be like, right, I've done standby art director before. This is how you do it, you know.
Yeah.
Break down. Here are the people. He introduced me to everyone. He was like, you know, so when I was panic stations and stuff, he'd be like, no, just chill out. You'll be alright. You'll be on it, you know. And he was pretty cool, you know. And he's always been in and around. I've worked with him on and off over the past 15 years, you know. And a couple of I set Sherlock up with him, you know. So he's, you know,
Thank you so much for telling me your story. It's incredible.
that's cool. I mean, you know, it's like that.
Yeah. Thank you for your time, Ciaran, and for, you know, all of your tips and your advice. And thank you to everyone who listened.